Rumors. Errol Spence Jr. gets sat down and handed off to someone else as Terence Crawford snatches all that is his. Let's talk about that in this video. £147 has been the staple of boxing for a while now. But it now appears to be completely shifted as far as the changing of the guard, as the welterweights that had been running that division for years, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, either have moved up in weight or retired, leaving 147 to the young boys. So at 154, people are wondering, well, how is that going to play out? Errol Spence Jr. moving up to 154, who is he going to be fighting next? We were told that he would be fighting Sebastian Fundura next. We have never not been told that. There has been a lot of moves and shakes coming from the WBO as far as trying to push Terence Crawford into their championship position, into their championship rather. But other than that, nothing's been said about Errol. So when I heard the news that Errol is not going to get the Sebastian Fundura fight, that he's going to fight Erickson Lubin, needless to say, I was shocked, because that doesn't jive with Errol. That doesn't jive with Fundura. And Erickson Lubin has literally nothing to offer Errol Spence Jr., and that's not anything that I really like to say often. I don't think you could find a worse matchup for Errol Spence right now than Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin, number one, is not a champion. So if he wins, what does he get? He gets a check. It's not like he's working to get in position, because he can get a championship shot right away. But why do they say that it's not Sebastian Fundura? Because the WBO ordered Sebastian Fundura to fight Terence Crawford. And they're going to the WBO will strip Sebastian Fundura if Sebastian Fundura does not fight Terence Crawford. Does that mean, though, that that fight is going to happen? No. And why do I say that? Because Terence Crawford and people at DAZN have all said, Terence Crawford has said, according to Turki Al-Sheikh, and Eddie Hearn believes, and Robert Garcia said he heard it from Terence Crawford himself, that the only fight that he wants to have is Canelo. That's it. He doesn't want to fight with Fundura. He doesn't want to fight with Jermell. He doesn't want to fight with Errol. He doesn't want these fights. So if he doesn't want it, but the WBO orders it, Sebastian Fundura is in a position where if he's got to take it or get stripped, more than likely Sebastian Fundura is going to get stripped. More than likely. Because, again, that's where the money is with the PBC. So what are you left with? You're left with Terence Crawford and a vacant WBO. What's he going to do? Get elevated to it. More than likely, I doubt very much they make him fight for a vacant belt. I don't believe that the WBO made Tim Tszyu fight for a vacant belt. So he more than likely he's going to get elevated. And then what for Terence? There's nothing there. He becomes the WBO champion and the WBA champion. Canelo's not coming to 154. There's no big money makers at that division for Terence Crawford other than Errol. There's no legacy fights for him, and Undisputed ain't there. You got Tim Tszyu fighting Bakram Murtazaliev soon, and you do have, I'm telling you, I believe it. I could be wrong, but I believe it. You have Errol, and Fundura dropped. Let's say it. If Fundura drops the belt, then you still have Fundura with the WBC, who's going to go fight another PBC guy. So it doesn't make sense. it's probably going to play out the way that Al Heyman wants it to play out. Because you have only one of the champions that you have there. You have Murtazaliev, who's fighting Tim Tszyu. I do believe Murtazaliev fights on PBC cards. And Tim Tszyu does as well. Clearly, Sebastian Fundura does. Jermell Charlo is in recess for the WBA. The more likely scenario for what could happen next is Jermell could come and insist that Terence Crawford fight him and immediately go in there and try to get his WBA super champion back by fighting the WBA world title. The WBA world champion. I think there's a likelihood of that. But if I had to bet, I would say Errol Spence Jr. fights Sebastian Fundura towards the end of the year, maybe in the beginning of next year. Terence Crawford is more than likely going to take another cherry pick for the WBA belt. I believe he's probably going to have a cherry pick fight for the WBA and get elevated to the WBO. But maybe he'll take that. But I don't think he's going to get the Fundura fight. At the end of the day, though, I'm looking forward to seeing how this stuff plays out. Terence Crawford just being so non-committal about what he's doing makes it very tough to me believe that he's actually going to fight Sebastian Fundura. And there's something else too. Why would Terence Crawford want to fight Sebastian Fundura? I'm telling you, that's not a good matchup for Terence Crawford either. Sebastian Fundura is a bad matchup for Errol. Sebastian Fundura is a bad matchup for Terence Crawford. I think both of them can beat him, but nobody likes to fight 6'6" southpaws. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, people don't really like that. Even though I do believe that Tim Tszyu was going to get rid of him. But that's what I think is going to happen. Man, don't pay too much attention to these prognostications about who is going to fight who next. I did another video today where people have been talking about Gervonta Davis and how Gervonta Davis is frozen out by Turki Al-Sheikh and how he doesn't have anybody to fight because everybody moved out of the weight class or they're fighting with Turki or they're ducking him. Man, that is just going to be a little hill to a little hill to go over. They'll find somebody for Gervonta and they will keep it pushing. But please do not expect promotional companies to stop acting like promotional companies. They will. Their job is to get as many fights out of fighters as they can and to make as much money for their organizations as they possibly can. So they are not about to feed up belts and all of that stuff to other promoters just for the sake of kumbaya with the boxing public. So don't jump to the conclusion that Errol Spence Jr. is going to do anything but get what he wants in his next fight, which is a fight at a championship. And I tell you, if he wouldn't been able to fight Tim Tszyu, I wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't have got a fight with Murtazaliev. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.